What do urban planners actually do and why it matters? Thinking about urban planning? Start here. Before people get into urban planning, they usually have the same questions. What does the day-to-day actually look like? Is it zoning, public meetings, maps, software, spreadsheets? What kind of degree do you need? Do you need a master's, accreditation, certification? What skills actually matter? Is it design? Is it data? Or is it explaining the same thing to 5 different people in 5 different ways? And then there's the big one. Can you really make a difference? Can urban planning actually improve communities, advance sustainability, address equity, and help shape better cities? Or do you just get stuck navigating bureaucracy forever? Those questions sit at the center of the profession. Urban planning lives in the space between theory and practice, between technical expertise and political reality, between long-term vision and very immediate constraints. And that tension is exactly what makes planning both powerful and deeply misunderstood. Urban planning explained without the jargon. When you're stuck in traffic, when your rent goes up, when your neighborhood suddenly gets a 5-story apartment building, when the city repaints your street and now no one knows where to park. That's urban planning. Urban planning is one of those professions that affects almost everyone, but is rarely understood outside of city hall, graduate school, or people who say things like, well, actually, according to the zoning code, guilty. Planning is everywhere. You just usually notice it when something annoys you. At its core, urban planning is the interdisciplinary practice of guiding land use, development, and public investment to achieve long-term community goals. This definition comes straight from the rational comprehensive planning tradition, the idea that planners collect data, forecast outcomes, evaluate alternatives, and make recommendations based on evidence. In theory, this is very logical. In practice, someone still stands up at the meeting and says the parking used to be better in 1997. Planning sits at the intersection of public policy, economics, environmental science, law, and design. Planners balance private property rights with the public interest. That tension sits at the heart of both rational planning and advocacy planning theory. Urban planning you experience every day. Here are some things urban planners influence that you probably experienced this week. Why your favorite coffee shop can legally exist on that corner. Why the gas station can't be built next to a school. Why your street has speed bumps, but the next one doesn't. Why your commute is 20 minutes, or still somehow 45 minutes, no matter what time you leave. Planning shapes school locations, bus routes, bike lanes, parking rules, trash pickup schedules, flood zones, park access. If you've ever thought, who designed this intersection? The answer is probably a planner and an engineer who argued about it for 6 months. Urban planners also help decide what a city chooses to remember through historic district designations, preservation ordinances, and cultural resource planning. Planners work to protect buildings, neighborhoods, and places that carry social, cultural, and historical meaning. This includes safeguarding landmarks, culturally significant corridors, and community spaces, especially in neighborhoods where development has historically erased identity in the name of progress. Preservation and planning is not about freezing cities in time, it's about balancing growth with memory. How urban planning got its power. Modern urban planning emerged during the industrial era. Cities were overcrowded, polluted, and on fire. A lot. Early planners believed social problems could be solved through technical expertise and physical design. This aligns with rational and physical planning theory. That's where we get zoning, master plans, and coordinated infrastructure. And to be fair, these tools solved real problems. But planning history also includes harm. Redlining, urban renewal, exclusionary zoning, highways built through neighborhoods, often justified as objective or neutral planning decisions. In response, planners like Paul Davidoff advanced advocacy planning. The argument was simple. Planners should represent marginalized communities, not pretend neutrality equals fairness. Today, planning increasingly draws from equity planning and justice-oriented frameworks. Modern planning openly acknowledges that it has never been neutral. What urban planners actually do all day. Despite popular belief, planners do not sit around redesigning cities from scratch. Urban planning is mostly about making decisions inside rules that already exist. This reflects incremental planning theory, Small changes over time with a lot of documentation. A planner's day might include reviewing an apartment proposal that's technically compliant but emotionally controversial, explaining why zoning does not work like SimCity, writing a staff report that no one reads except the person who disagrees with it, planning bike lanes, planning bus routes, planning housing near jobs, running public meetings where 5 people show up, 3 are angry, and 1 just wants to talk about parking. Many planners operate within communicative planning theory. That means listening, facilitating, negotiating conflict. It's part analysis, part mediation, part emotional labor, often in the same meeting. Planning versus politics. Who really decides? Planning theory spends a lot of time on tensions between expertise and democracy. Planners analyze, they evaluate, they recommend. Elected officials decide, which means planners often get blamed for decisions they did not make. Too much development, too little development, too dense, not dense enough. Planning operates within the political administrative boundary. That's a technical way of saying logic meets politics. And politics includes campaign promises, public pressure, and emails written entirely in all caps. Planning is slow because democracy is slow, and because land use decisions last a very long time. How people become urban planners. Planning education is theory heavy for a reason. Most planners are trained in rational analysis, policy evaluation, land use law, and GIS. Yes, maps. Graduate programs increasingly emphasize communicative planning theory, how to run meetings, how to mediate conflict, how to incorporate lived experience into formal policy. In the United States, many planners pursue AICP certification. This reflects professional ethics centered on the public interest. Planning attracts people who care about systems, not shortcuts. If you like quick wins, this may not be your field. If you like long timelines and structural impact, get over here. Why urban planning matters right now. Planning matters more than ever. Housing shortages, climate change, infrastructure failure, rising inequality. These challenges have pushed planning toward equity planning and resilience frameworks. Planners now ask, who benefits? Who is burdened? Who has been excluded historically? Every zoning rule, bus stop, sidewalk, park, and neighborhood boundary reflects these choices. Planning theory increasingly calls the field normative, meaning planners make value-based decisions, not just technical ones. Planning is about deciding whose future gets prioritized. Okay, let's see some common myths about urban planning. Myth 1, planners hate development. Most planners just want development that doesn't make everything worse. Myth 2, planning is anti-market. Markets literally rely on planning rules to exist. Myth 3, planners control everything. Planners influence, politics decides, reality intervenes. Urban planning shapes your life. Urban planning isn't abstract. It's the reason your city works. Or doesn't. It's the rules behind the streets you walk, the homes you live in, and the places people argue about online. If you want to understand how cities actually function and how they can change, you're in the right place. My name is Jasmine Moore, and this is Understanding Urbanism. See you next time.